Billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Before we start, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I truly do appreciate it. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. Today, man, we're going to talk about how the Democrats shut down the government, got nothing for it. Literally. Like, Trump isn't playing games with these people. Like, these people, like, I told you, man, Trump changed politics forever. He literally, pretty much single-handedly exposed the corruption in the government, Democrats in general, also exposing Republicans also. One thing that I like about Trump is he calls it how he sees it, and I can respect that about him. So he didn't cave on this whole government shutdown. They wanted $1.5 trillion. That turned to $26 billion that they wanted to do with the ACA subsidies, with the Obamacare subsidies. They wanted $26 billion. That would have went directly to big insurance companies. It wouldn't have benefited the people. And what people need to understand is Obamacare from the jump hurt healthcare. And this is why it's important for people to do research. I'm not a scholar on Obamacare. I'm not a scholar on politics, but I was able to get the research. I showed videos of Bernie Moreno breaking it down to the lowest denominator on why Obamacare was a dud. Now, most crazed Democrats would say, oh, he's a Republican, he's lying or lying about Obamacare. Okay, that's why Chuck Schumer ran out when he was asking crucial questions about who these subsidies would benefit. So when y'all say, oh, Trump wants to look out for his millionaire and billionaire friends like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and the whole Democrat Party says on a daily basis, understand that they are the ones who look out for their millionaire and billionaire friends. And also understand this, there is corrupt Republicans also in the House and in the Senate. And at some point on both sides of the aisle, shit needs to get cleaned up. You know what I mean? But as far as Trump's administration, I fuck with it. He's doing the right things for Americans. And they just need to get the fuck out the way and let Trump do his thing, to be honest with you. So we're going to get into a few videos talking about, how they basically came to this conclusion of getting the government reopened. Trump going to talk his shit. I'm going to get into another video with, shout out to Matt Morris TV. I think it's Matt Morris TV. I know it's Matt Morris, but anyway, I'm going to tap in with him. He got a video on Ilhan Omar, who is on a hot seat, possibly could be in this whole fraud case, and this could ultimately get her deported. Even though she's a congresswoman. Understand she can still get deported. So we're going to get into that, man. And the reason why I want to play this video is to expose, obviously, her and how the Democrats move, but more importantly, exposing how they use these so-called programs that benefit children and they benefit the needy, the poor, and they play on your heartstrings to be able to get money from the federal government, which is getting money from you. When they say they use federal dollars and this program got federal funding, that means they got funding from you and me. People who pay taxes. So we fund all of these wars and different things that goes on. We fund it. So it's important that we start really taking serious where this money is going to and how it's being accounted for. So Trump is the first president, he's not the first president to speak on fraud, waste, and abuse and corruption in the government. He's not the first. He's just the first one to actually act on it. He's the first one to actually expose it and also clean it up. So let's get into these videos. We're going to talk more about that. Let's get into it.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. My exclusive interview with President Trump in moments. But first, a Fox News alert. The Senate is set to vote on a deal to end the government shutdown, the longest in U.S. history at 41 days. Senior national correspondent Aisha Hasni is live from Capitol Hill. Aisha.
Hey, good evening to you, Laura. It has begun. Finally, after 41 days, the Senate is voting on the deal to end the government shutdown. It is a 8-vote series. We're on the second vote out of 8. So a few more amendments, a few more speeches to go until we finally get to final passage. And this is actually, funny enough, breakneck speed for the Senate. They are going to try to whiz through this in the next hour. So hopefully we will get to the final passage actually during your show, Laura. And Democrats across the country are watching this along with us, and they are enraged right now, and they're angry at Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer for allowing this to take place without getting the one thing that they were fighting for all along, which is extending the Obamacare subsidies. Instead, Laura, they got a promise for
A promise. And we ain't gonna give it to you. Trump ain't giving them shit. And we know this because Trump already said what? He said, listen, fuck giving the money, extending these subsidies, and giving it to these billionaire insurance companies. He said, let's give it directly to the people. So he is really pushing for us to actually get these benefits, this federal money. And I think that that's better because people can choose what healthcare they want. Ultimately, it doesn't put a whole... Because basically what these insurance companies were doing were basically buying doctors and things like that. It was one big money scheme, and they was able to raise premiums and things like that, which ultimately in the end helped their stocks and shares go up. And, obviously the companies were able to benefit, doctors were able to benefit, and obviously politicians who were getting kickbacks were able to benefit. So alleviating all of that and taking it away from them and giving it directly to the people means that you get the money, you get to choose what healthcare you want to do, and it takes the money out of the hands of the people who is putting a chokehold on healthcare. So ultimately, in the long run, this would be a good thing for the American people.
a vote on extending those subsidies sometime later on in December, and that is why there is so much anger over it. Some Democrats are calling this deal a betrayal. Some are calling it a big mistake because it doesn't fix that issue.
Yes.
Now, there is no guarantee that this vote is going to pass in the Senate, the subsidy vote in December. There's no guarantee the House would ever take it up. And the centrists really are explaining their deal here by saying that there was no way out of this. They had no other option. The shutdown was a bad idea, a bad thing for the country, and they had to cave to Republicans. Watch.
It was our judgment after 6 weeks, going on 7 weeks of this shutdown, that path wasn't working.
I understand that not all of my Democratic colleagues are satisfied with this agreement, but waiting another week or another month wouldn't deliver a better outcome.
So some Democrats out there are very...
So basically, you got this is proof that not all Democrats are pieces of shit, and that you have some moderate, normal Democrats who never wanted the government to be shut down, but they played along with it. You know what I mean? They played along because it's for the party, it's for the benefit of the party, but they were realizing that this ain't working. This ain't working. It's been what they 40 days? 40 days, nothing is happening. Trump isn't giving in. You're not getting the money. It's obvious. You know what I mean? And this is the thing. We already heard who was that? I think that was Caitlin Collins. I think I said Kristen Welker, but actually I think it was Caitlin Collins who had AOC and Bernie on, and he did that town hall. I'm almost positive. And Caitlin Collins told AOC basically like Republicans, there were Republicans who were willing to do the 1-year extension. And AOC was saying, no, we need more. They wanted more. They wanted more than $26 billion. They wanted which would, $26 billion a year. They wanted long-term funding for Obamacare subsidies. And they were being greedy. And they probably could have got this year extension that they came down to anyway, but ultimately they ended up losing it because Trump said, we got him. We got him. Because when you go from 1.5 trillion to 26 billion, it's obvious that you're desperate. You're desperate. I know all them insurance companies was reaching out to Chuck Schumer and I'm like, come on, bro. At least get us a year. Please, get us a year.
Very angry at Chuck Schumer. He didn't vote for this, but he didn't stop the caucus from voting for it either. And some are calling for his head, Laura. Senator Schumer, Ro Khanna writes, is no longer effective and should be replaced. If you can't lead the fight to stop health care premiums from skyrocketing for Americans, what will you fight for? And then on top of that, Rashida Tlaib also adding that he has failed to meet the moment. He's out of touch with the American people. The Democratic Party needs leaders who fight and deliver for working people, and Schumer should step down. Now, once this...
Now, hold on. That was a good statement, right? Sorry for keep cutting it off, but that was a good statement because she said the Democratic Party needs leaders who fight and deliver for working people. For working people. This money goes directly to insurance companies. They benefit. Democrats benefit. Politicians. Because Republicans are probably in on it. Some of them are probably in on it too. Who knows? These people are corrupt, bro. But understand, this ain't how is taking $26 billion, and this is just one thing. And this is why I want to play this Ilhan Omar thing because it's so much of this going on. We talking about, bro, billions. They throw around millions and billions of dollars of taxpayer money like it's nothing on dumb shit. You gonna see, watch.
Finally goes through the Senate and they vote on final passage. House Speaker Mike Johnson will recall the House. He'll give them about 36 hours to get back to the Hill. He's already told them to start their journeys back to the Hill now because of all those flight issues with cancellations and delays. And they're hoping to take this up in the House as early as Wednesday, get the government back open. Laura?
Aisha, thank you very much, and keep us posted throughout the hour. All right, just a short while ago, I sat down with President Trump right before the show for an exclusive interview at the White House. So we talked about, the shutdown, everything from Gavin Newsom to Brandon Johnson, what was happening on the East Wing, and what Melania thought about it. But we started, of course, with the Schumer shutdown. Sir, what lessons do you think the Democrats should learn from this shutdown saga?
Well, the country loses a lot of money when they do this, and they're not getting much, but nobody gets a lot, but it's terrible. What they really wanted was $1.5 trillion for people that came in illegally, people that came in through and out of prisons. We had like Venezuela, they dumped their prisons.
They said that was all exaggerated by you.
Yeah, I know, it's exaggerated. They wanted $1.5 trillion for health care from people that were, in some cases, 11,888 exactly murderers, many of whom murdered more than one person. So they came into our country, they poured into our country, and they want to take care, and we're trying to get them out because we don't want 11,000 murderers in our country. You don't want it. Nobody wants it. And we have drug dealers and we have everything else, and they want to make sure they get good health care. That's not what our country's about. And it would have hurt other people's health care.
On Obamacare, you raised several times during this shutdown debate that it's clear that this was never going to work without these massive subsidies. Now they wanted to continue the COVID subsidies. So given the fact that Obamacare really can't survive as they thought without these subsidies, What next?
Well, I watched Obama from when this thing came about. As you know, I opposed it very strongly. Unfortunately, we had a couple of negative votes, which should never have happened. But I said it's going to be a disaster, and I was exactly right. The premiums have gone up like rocket ships, and I'm not just talking about recently. I'm talking about for years they've been going up. And he said premiums will go down, everything will be wonderful. It's horrible health insurance at a very high price. And what I want, and probably what you're alluding to, is the fact that I want, instead of going to the insurance companies, I want the money to go into an account for people where the people buy their own health insurance. It's so good. The insurance will be better. It'll cost less. Everybody's going to be happy. They're going to feel like entrepreneurs. They're actually able to go out and negotiate their own health insurance. And they can use it only for that reason. That's the beauty, only for that purpose. And if we did that, that would be so exciting. Call it Trump care, call it whatever you want to call it, but anything but Obamacare. Obamacare is a disaster, just like he was as a president.
How do Republicans?
You know, you had to throw that shot in there. Which Obama was, bro. Obama was a puppet, bro. Let's be honest, man. And Obama did do exactly what Trump said. Go back, look it up. He talked about Obamacare a lot. And every time he talked about how it was affordable and how it was for the people and how it was going to benefit Americans and it was going to lower premiums and do all of this great shit that it never did. And now they have to use these subsidies in order to basically keep Obamacare going. Bro.
Republicans avoid this shutdown saga from reoccurring on January 30th when this deal ends?
Well, we're trying to put in a bill, as you know, the bill or a bill that you can never do that again. You can't just shut down the government because you're trying to renegotiate a deal that you didn't. Don't forget, when we passed the great big beautiful bill, which gives you tremendous middle-income tax benefits and it gives so much to everybody. Think of it: no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, and no tax, very importantly, on overtime. If you work overtime, you don't have to pay tax.
That's a good one.
So many other things. It gives you a deduction if you buy a car.
All of them things benefit who? It benefits who? You, me, people who work. And that's the thing. And this is what I tell people. Okay, you're going to have policies that benefit, infrastructure. Like somebody put in my comments, Joe Biden passed the infrastructure bill. I said, okay, cool. I said, how much of that $1 trillion, because that's how much it costs, went to actual infrastructure, right? Because that's the problem. They get this money for these so-called big, great projects, and it just never comes into fruition. Look at what did Gavin Newsom was building in California? Was he building a train or some shit? He was building something that never got done. They needed all of these billions of dollars to build electric vehicle stations for electric vehicles. They said they was going to have them all over or something like that. They only built a few of them. It's so much stuff that these people waste money on. And it's just not for the people. That's my thing. That's all fine and dandy. Even if you build stations, even if you build bridges and roads and stuff like that, they doing some infrastructure shit out here where I'm at. That's all cool. But also, what policies are put in place to benefit you directly you? Trump is not only doing them things, right? Lowering costs. Like, all of these things are going to happen, bro. I'm telling you. Cost is already going down. I just seen gas the other day. It was just not 2-3 weeks ago. It was at a little over $3. At one point, like a month ago, it was at like $3.15. Yo, like 2 days ago, I don't know what it was yesterday, but like 2 days ago, it was like $2.69. So things are going down. Milk was, I went to the store to get some milk. $4.20, it was like $4.29. All of these things, that was at like $5. Eggs, all of these things are coming down. Whether people want to admit it or not, they are. You know what I'm saying? Is some things going up? Yes. You know what I'm saying? But that's, everything is dependent on markets. And it's also dependent on where you live at, what state you in, things like that too. But my thing is, this one big beautiful bill, The no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. Like, people, this directly benefits you, because now when that overtime that you put in, them extra hours that you put in, now you're going to see 100% of that money. If you're single, you're going to see $12,500 up to $12,500. If you're married, you get up to $25,000 in overtime that you can work and get all of that money up to $25,000 or $12,500. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, that benefits you. $12,500. You know, we talking about middle class people, right? That's a lot of money that you could potentially make. You know what I mean? That's going to go towards your household. That's policy that benefits the people. And that's just a few things. There's other things in there that help small businesses. You know, he's trying to get rid of the IRS, you know, because they got a chokehold on the game. Like, yo, all the stuff that I see Donald Trump doing is directly benefiting America. They can say all they want. That's their favorite talking about. Oh, he's benefiting his millionaire and billionaire friends. Like, bro, Democrats and Republicans have billionaire friends. Like, it's just, come on. Like, you know, you got people like Elon Musk who got, you know, contracts and things like that with the government. You know, you got big guys like Jeff Bezos. All these guys are big people that obviously lobby politicians. It's not a secret. You know what I mean? So, of course, they're all going to have millionaire and billionaire friends. So that whole shit is weak. But look at the people that's in the government, right? Who, like, it's a lot of, I'm not saying there, because there's Republicans too and Democrats. But there is more Republicans that actually have had, you know, businesses and small businesses, or, you know, possibly bigger businesses, and had employees and built things. Most of them Democrats, bro, it's not too many of them. I think Gavin Newsom, unfortunately, he might have had a business or two or something like that. Not 100% sure on that. But most of them, bro, they millionaires telling you, oh, Trump is trying to look out for his millionaire and billionaire friends. These people make $170,000 a year, but you know, Nancy Pelosi, net worth $200 million. Obama, all of these people, bro, millionaires living in Martha's Vineyard. What are you talking about, bro? Sorry for going off on that rant, but I just had to say that real quick.
You borrow money, you put a loan on a car, you're allowed to deduct the interest. That's never happened in our country before. You know, that's always been for the richer people. They're allowed to take deductions. Now you
so, you know, just saying.
Can deduct interest on a car. So we have tremendous goodies in there. You know, they like to try and disparage it. Oh, it's the greatest bill ever passed in the history of our country. That's why we did it all in one. It's 4 years worth of goodies, and it's largely for jobs and for the middle class and for security.
But the Democrats clearly wanted to renegotiate this and hold the country hostage, did it not?
They didn't get what they wanted in the great big beautiful bill. And so what they tried to do is renegotiate it at a time where they hold the country hostage.
One of the big problems for the country I encountered on Saturday coming back from Florida to D.C. with the airports. So hours delayed, thousands of flight cancellations that are continuing this week.
Yeah.
You put out a Truth Social post earlier today.
I did.
Where you blasted the air traffic controllers who had not shown up for work and offered potentially a bonus of $10,000 for those who have worked despite the shutdown. Are you worried that, given the fact that we have a deficit of air traffic controllers still, I know we're trying to change that, that might be a difficult
No, we don't
position?
have much of a deficit, and we have a lot of people want the job. But I was not happy when I saw all these people, oh, we have to. Look, life is not so easy for anybody. Our country's never done better. We should not have had people leaving their jobs. And what I basically did is say the ones that stayed, of which there were a lot of them, I'm sending them a $10,000 bonus.
Where's that money coming from?
I don't know. I'll get it from someplace. I always get the money from someplace regardless. It doesn't matter. I do a lot of bonuses for people because it's really something that, it's like the American way when you think about it. So here's somebody that goes and shows up every single day. Some of them showed up early because they knew there was going to be a problem. Those people should be rewarded. Others, We couldn't, we can't make it. We can't. You know, a lot of the people that showed up also had a second job. They took a second job temporarily, but they all know the money's coming, and the money was coming. So I want to reward the people that showed up without a lot of nonsense, without a lot of talk. They did their job, and in many cases, they worked longer hours to get us through this period.
When can we expect the flights to resume more or less on better schedules?
Well, you know, I've heard a lot of people say, in fact, on your show, 2 nights ago, somebody said, you know, I just took a plane. I got better service than I got in the past. Now, maybe because a little bit fewer people are traveling.
There are a lot of delays now, sir.
But a lot of people, but a lot of people are getting through. I think the people are going to start showing up. I was very strong on that truth. I said, now you get to work.
Did you remember the air traffic control firing of Reagan in 1983?
Yeah,
I believe it was. I
one
remember
of the highlights of his life. You want to know the truth? He fired them because they didn't show up to work, and he never let them come back.
The economy was listed as a top concern. I know you know this for voters in New Jersey, New York, Virginia. I know you've been all over the affordability issue today and for the last several months. Eggs, gas, a dinner cost for Thanksgiving way down. But other things, as you noted, have gone up. Beef, coffee,
but they're come
auto
down very
repairs.
shortly.
Is this a voter perception issue of the economy, or is there more that needs to be done by Republicans on Capitol Hill, or done in terms of policy?
More than anything else, it's a con job by the Democrats. They're saying, they just have to say, you know, they put out something, say today costs are up. They feed it to the anchors of ABC, CBS, and NBC, and a lot of other, and, you know, CNN, and et cetera. And it's like a standard. I'll never forget, they had used a word like manufactured. Do you remember the word manufactured? It's a manufactured economy. Nobody uses that word. Every anchor broke through manufactured. They do exactly what they say. It's such a rigged system. So are you ready? Costs are way down. Gasoline is going to be hitting $2 pretty soon, or around $2. Gasoline is at $2.70 now, and it was at $4.
Yo, listen, he ain't lying. That joint was under 270 a little bit, but it was around 270.
50 under Biden, under Sleepy Joe. When gasoline comes down, when energy comes down, and everybody agrees energy's down, we're drill, baby, drill. We're going like wild. We produce more gasoline, oil and gas in the last month than we ever have before, by far. And we're going to also end up filling up the national strategic reserves, which were taken out by Biden in order to try and win an election. Didn't work out too well. They tapped in. That's supposed to be for war, for national emergency, not to get.
So are you saying that voters are misperceiving how they feel, or?
So when I took over, you remember?
Because you said Biden did that too, because he was saying things were great, but things weren't great.
It's synonymous, Biden and Kamala, because you didn't know who the hell was campaigning. I mean, it got to a point. So I was up by 20 points on Biden or some crazy number. And they said, all right, let's get him out. We'll put a new one. This never happened to anybody. All of a sudden, I have somebody new. And they had the 6-week honeymoon, which was standard in the world of politics. You get a little honeymoon. And she had her little honeymoon, but then eventually people got to know her, too. And then they had the 60 Minutes catastrophe where they, changed her answer.
Housing costs are still out of reach. And another thing that your administration is trying to tackle, many Americans, the average age of first-time home buyers are now up to age 40, which is sad. The country,
that's
you and I agree on.
Crazy. Yo, the average age for home buyers is 40. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. But the one thing he's saying is right, though. That's what they do. They do, you see it all the time. Like I've showed like a compilation where every news station repeated the same exact memo that they all got. Like, that's what they do, bro. It's things like that I see, and I just be like, I can't take this serious. I can't take these people serious. I see them lie, like even like simple like stuff with the shutdown. They just constantly kept saying, oh, Trump has the presidency, they have the House and the Senate. And like, but they don't throw in there about the 60 votes, which is important for Americans to know that it takes 60 votes, which means Democrats had to hop on board. Like for me, when you see them, right? You see them in these hearings, you see them at these committee hearings and stuff like that, and they just lie, bro. They don't care. They don't care. All they care about is the American people. Enough Americans believe in them to vote for them. That's it. They cared about these low elections in New Jersey and what's in New York City. But more importantly, they was trying to get this $26 billion in subsidy money to give to these insurance companies, man. Like, bro, these people play hella games, bro. Big games. And it's just, people just gotta wake up, man. It's important because in the future, I think that it's getting to a point where in the future people are actually going to vote in people who are actually going to do for the country. Like, I think it's just time for that. Like, we can't just keep voting on people based on, oh, she's a sister. Oh, he's black. Oh, he's Spanish. Oh, she's a woman. Like, who cares? Who cares about any of that? Like who's qualified to do this position, whatever it is. Like, we can't just keep voting people in off of dumb shit. And like I said, we gonna get to it.
That. Look, you have to understand.
Right, but let me get to the question though, because your housing director has.
Yo, Trump is hilarious though, bro. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. That motherfucker funny, bro. Cause he's smart, he's funny, and he's like sarcastic. Like, I don't know, it's just something about him, bro.
Posed something that has enraged
crazy,
your MAGA friends, which is this 50-year mortgage idea. So a significant MAGA backlash, calling it a giveaway to the banks and simply prolonging the time it would take for Americans to own a home outright. Is that really a good idea?
It's not even a big deal. I mean, you go from 40 to 50 years, and what it means is you pay something less from 30. That some people had a 40, and then now they have a 50. All it means is you pay less per month. You pay it over a longer period of time. It's not like a big factor. It might help a little bit. But the problem was that Biden did this. He increased the interest rates. And I have a lousy Fed person who's going to be gone in a few months, fortunately. I have a guy too late, Jerome Powell, we call him too late. He was too late in everything, except when it came to before the so-called Democrat election, which didn't work. But we're going to get interest rates down. But even with interest rates up, the economy is the strongest it's ever been. You asked me, just to go back to the beginning of your question, you talked about prices. We're down on energy. We're down on interest rate. Interest rates are down despite the Fed. Now, if we had a normal person at the Fed, would have really low interest rates, and we will soon have that. We'll have somebody that's.
And why are people saying they're anxious about the economy? Why are they saying that?
I don't know that they are saying. I think polls are fake. We have the greatest economy we've ever had. We will have over $20 trillion come into our economy, and it's largely because of my election, but it's also largely because of tariffs. Even the tariff thing, it's such a disgrace. I'm watching them saying, well, no money would have to be paid back because it's not that much. It's trillions and trillions of dollars would have to be paid back.
If the Supreme Court rules against the tariffs.
It would be a disaster for our country. Now, will I do something? I'll figure something out because I do. That's what I do in life. I figure things out. But it's so. President Xi was willing to do the rare earth thing, that's magnets. Now, nobody knows what a magnet is. If you don't have a magnet, you don't make a car. You don't make a computer. You don't make televisions and radios and all the other things. You don't make anything. It's a 30-year effort to monopolize a very important thing. Now, within 2 years, we'll have magnets, all the magnets we want, but we don't. Because of tariffs, I called. I said, listen, here's the story. You're going to play the magnet. I'm going to play the tariff on you. And for national security purposes, I raised the tariff by 100% over and above what they were paying, which was 55. So he was at 155%. Within 10 minutes, I got a call. We'd like to meet. And we settled it out. And we made a wonderful deal, great deal for our country. But we made a great deal. We would have had a closed country. We would have had a depression. The whole world would have had a depression.
Yo, if Kamala Harris was the president, oh my God. Shit would be in shambles right now, bro. Shit would be in shambles, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. Because she would have sold us out, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I be thinking really on some real shit, bro. Some of these politicians, bro, they are like spies and like, foreign interests. Like, I don't. Some of the things that they do is no way. It's either them things that I said, but also just greed, like individual greed, like that people have. Because some of the stuff that they do is like, it's like damn, like they really selling out America. It doesn't make sense. like at all. But a lot of it is just individual greed, though, too. I think it's more of that than the other shit. You know what I mean? To be honest, but it's crazy, bro. I don't know. This stuff is crazy, bro. There's some deep shit. But I like tariffs. To me, personally, they try to say it's a tax. To me, I don't see how it's a tax. You know, like I'm talking about on the consumer. Like, I don't see how it's a tax on us. Because at the end of the day, he puts the tariffs on these countries to get them to come to the table, make deals, you know, which causes what? Fair trade. You know what I mean? Negotiations. Let's do this, let's do that. Next thing you know, shit going down, shit's all good. You know what I mean? And that's what he's doing. He made the huge deal with the EU. I believe, I know that him and China had a deal on the table. I guess it's a deal happening. Not 1,000% sure if it already happened, but I know that it's in talks for sure. I know they had like a plan. But he had one with Japan, I believe, Indonesia, a few different, like hella countries, bro. So the tariffs was a tool. Like I could see if he was I see like my thing is this. They talk and act as if Trump is just doing all of this stuff that is just hurting America when everything that he's doing is benefiting America in every way. Bro, I seen literally Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, there was a few of them. Some of them names I don't know. But all of them are billionaires. All talking, Trump has got them all going around the table. Bro, he got them all going around the table, one by one, talking about how much they invested. Mark Zuckerberg talking about $200 billion. Jeff Bezos, $600 billion. These are just these few people, individual companies. You know what I mean? Then he got Honda, Hyundai, just so much going on, bro. But all of these things that he say is like jobs in America, jobs coming back to America, like money for America. I don't see where people get the perception of he's just looking out for himself and like what? I don't see it, I just don't.
Us that we're too dependent on China. It's not just on rare earths, sir. We're dependent on them for still pharmaceuticals, still key industrial components. The Journal did a huge piece, and they're fairly pro-China, but a very
it's all coming
extensive
back,
piece.
Laura, because of tariffs. I'm charging them tariffs of 100% and 150% for pharmaceuticals. What's happening? The pharmaceutical companies are all back here building plants right now. That's part of the $20 trillion of money that's come in because of tariffs. And we're not dependent on China. We're dependent on having a smart president. If we have a smart president, we're going to have no trouble. If we have a guy like we had last time, who was such an embarrassment, if we have stupid presidents, whether you have tariffs or don't have tariffs, it doesn't matter. If we didn't have tariffs, if I didn't have the power of the tariffs, right now we would have a country that wouldn't be making cars, wouldn't be making anything.
A new detailed report on CNN, of all places, documents China's expansion of 60% of its missile facilities. It's staggering, bigger than anyone had ever thought, more robust growth. And over the weekend, the new Japanese prime minister, who I know you like a lot, Kaiichi, called the Taiwan situation extremely severe in its phase, and that they may consider any move on Taiwan by China to be a national survival crisis for Japan. Now, that gets better, a Chinese diplomat today said in a social media post that she, the Prime Minister of Japan, should be beheaded for her comments. These are not our friends, sir, are they, in China?
Well, a lot of our allies aren't our friends either, Laura. Our allies took advantage of us on trade more than China did. And China took big advantage. I mean, we built, because
we built their military.
We built their military. Yeah. We built their whole thing. The whole thing was, and by the way, if you remember, in my first term, I took in hundreds of billions of tariffs. I put tariffs on China very early. Then when we got hit with COVID, we fought that. We did a very good job, but that was COVID. It came from a certain place in China.
Right.
You remember?
Another great gift from China.
That was another little gift we got. But look, I get along great with President Xi. I get along great with China. But the only way you're going to get along well with China is you have to deal from a position of strength. We have tremendous strength because of tariffs. We have tremendous strength because of what I've done. I've rebuilt our military, and they have a lot of missiles, but we have a lot of missiles too. And they don't want to mess around with us, I can tell you that.
A lot of MAGA folks are not thrilled about this idea of hundreds of thousands of foreign students in the United States. We have about 350,000 Chinese.
That's
One point
true.
during COVID, you were going to,
I think a lot of them, like I said about the politicians, I think there's a few politicians too who, foreign interests. And same thing with these students and things like that. Like, listen, bro, it's a national security risk, for the country, like what Biden did. Major national security risk, letting all them illegal immigrants in the country. Mind you, people, they keep your mind focused on, Mexicans, Venezuelans, Spanish people, right? Like, and have you thinking like about just them. No, Trump said it over, I think it was 170 different countries. Like, it wasn't just illegal immigrants from, Mexico and Venezuela and stuff. No, they were from all over the world coming through them ports of entry. So major national security risk. So the whole deportation thing is like, for me, I'm just like, bro, y'all talking about like what are you gonna do when, I don't even like talking about it, but like, bro, it's not far-fetched. Like, the amount of people that have come into this country for, 9/11, site, events, like major shit like that to happen. Not saying 9/11 specifically, I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like major bombs and all types of stuff. Like, you just don't know, like, who these people are, bro. I don't know. I think, Joe Biden and them and the Democratic Party really dropped the ball these last 4 years before Trump came in, bro. Like, big time. And honestly, it was like really like treason, bro. The shit that they did, bro. To be honest with you, they should be arrested. To be honest,
they pushed to get them out, but that was pulled back. You've said as many as 600,000 Chinese students could come to the United States. Why, sir, is that a pro-MAGA position when so many American kids want to go to school and there are places not for them and these universities are getting rich off Chinese money?
Sure. Never said about China, but we do have a lot of people coming in from China. We always have, China and other countries. We also have a massive system of colleges and universities. And if we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business.
So what?
Well, I think that's a big deal.
Are they fans
You would have the
of the United States?
Yeah, but you would have, as you know, historically, black colleges and universities would all be out of business. You would have a system of colleges and universities would go down the tubes.
So we're dependent on China to keep our university system going?
But I think it's good to have, I actually think it's good to have outside countries. Look, I want to be able to get along with the world.
They're not the French. They're the Chinese. They spy on us. They steal our intellectual property.
What, do you think the French are better?
Yeah.
I mean, really? I don't know. I'll tell you, I'm not so sure. We've had a lot of problems with the French where we get taxed very unfairly on our technology, where, they put 25% taxes on American products. Look, assuming everyone treats us badly, because that's the way I am, but we take in trillions of dollars from students. The students pay more than double when they come in from most foreign countries. I want to see our school system thrive, but at the same time, I know you and I disagree. We're never going to agree on it, but that's okay. And it's not that I want them, but I view it as a business. We have millions and millions of people. Also, I want to get along with countries if possible. People are shocked. Remember Hillary Clinton?
Like, bro, that people be, Trump won forever wars and all of this. Like, what he's talking about makes sense, but it's risky though, and that's why I understand what Laura coming from. Definitely, China definitely steals intellectual property. They definitely spy on us. They definitely are a threat, especially with the pharmaceutical stuff. Like, that's really major, bro. Depending on your basically your enemy to medicate you is crazy, to be honest with you. So, like, that's it's a tricky, being a president is a tricky thing though, to be honest. It really is. But I see what he's saying, but I see what she's saying. And I like Laura, though, because she kind of like isn't, she's not like a Caitlin Collins in them, like where she's just going to be, all glazing Trump. And no, she's going to hit him with hard questions. She's not just going to be all hard questions. She's going to also, show respect and all of that stuff. Like, she's a real reporter. I fuck with Laura.
I said, we'll be in a war. I stopped 8 wars in the last 9 months. I don't want to be in wars. If I am in a war, we're going to win the thing fast, and it'll be violent. But you know what? I don't want to be in wars. But one thing, you don't want to cut half of the people, half of the students from all over the world that are coming into our country, destroy our entire university and college system. I don't want to do that.
I wouldn't lose any sleep.
And don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea. I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else. And MAGA wants to see our country thrive.
And that's it, man. Shout out to Laura Ingraham, man. That was a really good interview, really insightful on, just how Donald Trump is thinking about all of these things that are going on. Yeah, I definitely got a lot from it. Hopefully you did too. But yeah, man, America first, bro. No matter what. And that's how it should be, bro. The policies and everything. And this is what I challenge a lot of people that try to debate with me and argue with me. Bro, what solutions are these people like Hakeem Jeffries, Jasmine Crockett? Did you see Jasmine? Oh, man, I should have played that. I just forgot all about that. Did you see Jasmine Crockett, the one who blamed white people for everything? Yo, she was glazing the shit out of Gavin Newsom. Like, this nigga, was the holy grail. Bro, you got to see it, bro. Yeah, I should, you know what? I'm going to see if I can play it tomorrow. Because she's funny, bro. They be lying. Like, they don't care about racism. It's a talking point, bro. And then, damn, I'm going to play it tomorrow. But then she was on another interview, right? And she, it's what I be saying, like, the fake ghetto shit. She fake. It's not how she really is. She had a whole interview, with another female, and like she was like talking very proper, how she normally talks, and it is nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? Like, my whole thing is, I'd rather Jasmine Crockett would be so much better. Number one, if she actually cared, about representing her people. That's number one, right? All politicians, that should be number one. They claim to serve the people, but a lot of them don't. They serve themselves, right? They get in government, they get corrupted, and they start going off the rail. But she would be so much better if she was herself. You know what I mean? Smart, came from a healthy, good family, money, talks proper, all of that stuff. Do that. Represent yourself as a black woman who's intelligent, who is a congresswoman, who, so black girls can see someone like a Jasmine Crockett, but in a good light. Not that ghetto ratchet shit. Like, nobody wants to see that. That's corny to me. It's not a good representation of black people, bro. Just because we have that in our culture doesn't mean that, that's the best representation of us. Like, I'm not sitting there saying you got to talk like fucking, I don't know, but still, like, she just be faking. That's not really her. But anyway, man, let's get on to this next story with Ilhan Omar. You know the congresswoman who married her brother? I believe so, like, he can, like, get in the country or some shit. Yo, that shit is wild, right? She married her own brother. True story. Let's get into it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it would seem as if radically progressive Somalian Congresswoman Ilhan Omar has just found herself in a $250 million world of trouble, and no, I'm not joking. You see, during the recent pandemic, a Minnesota-based organization called Feeding Our Future had claimed that it was using federal pandemic recovery money in order to serve food to starving children. But as it would turn out, they were actually lying about all of that, defrauding all of us American taxpayers to the tune of $250 million. In fact, take a look at this.
In December of 2021, the FBI installed a surveillance camera overlooking this building just off Lake Street in Minneapolis. At the time, it was Safari Restaurant, which overall took in $12 million in federal child meal payments through Feeding Our Future. Safari's former co-owner, Salim Saeed, is on trial alongside Amy Bach, the Feeding Our Future executive director. Safari claimed to feed 4,000 to 6,000 kids a day. Its invoices and meal counts shown to the jury alongside the video. An FBI agent testifying that an average of 40 people came and went during the 6 weeks it was surveilled. The FBI set up a total of 12 cameras at sites claiming to serve extraordinary numbers of meals. Another was at a deli in St. Paul, also registered by defendant Salim Saeed, which claimed 1,800 meals per day. The video shown to the jury showed an average of 23 people a day coming and going. The jury was shown dozens of invoices, meal counts, and emails seized from Feeding Our Future's headquarters in St. Anthony. Some showed links to websites that randomly generated names and ages to create rosters of children who were served meals. Many were signed or sent by Amy Bach, who's charged with wire fraud, along with bribery for the alleged kickbacks that she received. Her defense attorney tried to raise doubt when it cross-examined the FBI agent, that they didn't see the back entrance where it's possible meals left packed in trucks for delivery. He pushed back, insisting they'd still see congestion. To that volume, he said, I would say it would not.
Do you see that, bro? This is what they do, bro. This is what these politicians do, bro. They still, 250 million, bro. 250 million, bro. They just, so much money, bro. So much corruption. It's crazy. And this is the type of stuff that they do. They claim to be doing good causes, feeding the children, and come to find out they're not. And they're getting kickbacks and things like that. This is regular shit. This is what they do. Even when they build stuff, planes and shit like that. Like, bro, the money that they spend on things, they overspend. I think Kash Patel said he was the first. Don't quote me on this. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that he said that when he was, I think he was in the FBI. He was in one of them departments. He was in a department. And basically, all these departments get XY amount of dollars. And he was on one of the ones who actually gave funds back. They ain't giving that money back.
Make any sense.
And of course, to anyone with half a brain, it doesn't make any sense either. And that's because they were lying. Now, this fraud group, Feeding Our Future is what it was called, was actually quite a large and
regular scammers. They all look like scammers.
elaborate operation and operated out of several different locations, one of which was Safari Restaurant. Now, worth noting, this group consisted of well over 70 Somalian immigrants, all of which have been similarly indicted and given federal charges. And so, folks, it was this very organization, Feeding Our Future, that Representative Ilhan Omar was directly involved with. In fact, at one point, she was pretty much the public face of the entire organization altogether, even showing up at their headquarters, Safari Restaurant, to help promote the entire fraud ring. But hey, if you don't believe me, take a look at this.
horta aad iyo aadaan ugu faraxsanahay in maanta Safari aan soo gaarnay. Safari in ay tahay meelaha sayti oo diyaarinayo cunto maalin kasto. Maalintii kaliyo Safari waxay ay cunto siisaa 2,300 oo ciyaal ah iyo familkooda.
And so, folks, there you have it. That right there was Congresswoman Ilhan Omar promoting the fraud organization Feeding Our Future at their Somalian cuisine headquarters, Safari Restaurant. Also that they could go on to defraud American taxpayers out of right around $250 million in total. But you know what? This entire situation gets even worse than that. You see, the next component of this entire story gets absolutely insane, almost unbelievable even. But before we take a look at that, I do want to say real fast that if you folks enjoy the daily news updates, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a lot. But okay, check this out. You see, the only reason this fraudulent organization, Feeding Our Future, was able to receive any federal taxpayer money in the first place is because of a piece of 2020 legislation called the Meals Act, which allocated money from the federal government towards humanitarian groups just like Feeding Our Future. And now, folks, can you guess who authored, drafted, and proposed this Meals Act? That's right, Ilhan Omar.
Bruh. She created it. Bro. Piece of shit, bruh. She should get deported, bro.
She proposed the legislation that allowed for this fraudulent charity to receive money from the federal government. Then she personally promoted this fraudulent charity as it was stealing hundreds of millions of dollars.
Hey, them Somalian motherfuckers be ugly as shit. God damn.
From all of us federal taxpayers. Ladies and gentlemen, the amount of premeditated fraud here is really absolutely astounding, and it clearly shows that Ilhan Omar had a longitudinal plan to draft up this legislation, then work with all of her Somalian immigrant constituents back in Minnesota in order to steal money from the federal government. And by the way, keep in mind, where does all of that federal money come from? Well, that's right, all of us hardworking taxpayers. But you know what? Somehow this entire situation actually still gets even worse. You see, at least 3 of these federally charged Somalian immigrants that were involved in the Feeding Our Future fraud ring were also, guess what, campaign donors to Ilhan Omar. Which would mean that not only did she propose the legislation that allowed for all of this fraud to happen, and not only did she personally promote the fraud, but she also financially benefited from this entire fraudulent situation as well. And
so she made this legislation, right? Set up this whole organization, made it to where they was able to get $250 million in, I guess, funding to serve these meals. They supposed to be serving all of these families and children. Only served about 100 people. Yeah. And then she was getting kickbacks through her campaign because they was donating.
Now, folks, as we continue to break all of this down, I do want to say something real quick here.
Bro, this is just one situation. Just like the Obamacare subsidies, this situation, these are just singular situations. We talking about massive amounts of these same type of operations going on in the government, and this is all taxpayer money. So my thing is this, the way I look at it is, if we as the people actually cared enough about the people that we choose to represent us, if they actually didn't take our money and put it towards these fake operations, these fake programs, right, that so-called are feeding starving children around the world, how much better it would be here in America. You know what I mean? Like, it's just common sense, especially when it comes to USAID and all the foreign aid that we dish out. If we didn't dish out all of that money, well, we're not doing it. They're doing it. But we're voting for them. So technically, you are doing it. So these people are shelling out millions and billions of dollars of our money, and, and we're paying a price. Yo, I showed that chart. That chart was very, very interesting because it was from Joe Biden, 2023, and U.S.-born citizens, even when it comes to welfare, right? Food stamps, WIC. I don't even know if Social Security falls into that, because I know you pay into Social. I guess it does. Social Security, all of this stuff, these social programs, right? U.S.-born citizens are they were at the lowest percentages of people getting these benefits. Legal immigrants, meaning people that came here legally, were getting more benefits than actual U.S.-born citizens, and even illegal immigrants. That's crazy. So when they sit here and lie, and mind you, that chart was from Joe Biden, and that was an actual chart from one of the departments. Anyway, it's beside the point. The fact of the matter is, how is legal and illegal immigrants getting more benefits off of American money than actual Americans? Like, how does that even make sense, bruh?
Here, not only is this entire situation just ethically and morally rotten to the core, but also it's just completely incompetent. According to the court paperwork, it says that Feeding Our Future claimed to feed over 3.9 million individual children in total. Folks, let the record show there are only 1.3 million children in the entire state of Minnesota.
Bruh. They ain't even get the math right. Yo, what the fuck?
A basic Google search would have confirmed that.
Yo,
What's more,
crazy.
all the FBI had to do was place some cameras outside of Feeding Our Future's various fraudulent locations in order to see how egregiously they were lying, and as it turned out, they were lying and inflating their numbers by a factor of like 100. So as they say, crime doesn't pay, especially...
Man, shout out to Matt Morris, man, exposing these crooked motherfuckers. I wanted to play this a little bit of his last video. I ran across. I just want to see. So they swearing this guy Sergio Gore to be ambassador of to India, and I wanted to see the questions that they was asking Trump. See if there's anything interesting in there.
You stand over there.
All right,
okay. Yeah.
Swear him in here.
So we'll fast forward this part right here.
Right hand up.
Just swear
Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
That I take this obligation.
Look at her, Caitlin Collins. Look at her. That bitch look evil, bro. She look like she just wakes up and just. Why is her face so strong? She just look evil. She's so mad. Look, oh my God, they're celebrating. Everybody's clapping. Everybody's so happy. Miserable. I know she's gonna ask a nut question.
This is an honor of a lifetime. I want to thank first you, what you have done for this country before you came back in, the trouble that this country was facing. I mean, frankly, we were screwed. What you have achieved in 10 months has been historic, has surpassed any other presidency. And I fully believe what you will achieve in the next 3 years will never be beaten. So it has been an honor to serve you. I've been at your side for many years. I will continue to be there. And it's just an incredible honor. And I look forward to enhancing the relationship between our two nations. But again, thank you for entrusting me with this position. And I look forward to doing a great job for you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Well, thank you, sir. First of all, congratulations, Sergio. You're going to be a great ambassador, a great representative to the country of India, which the president and I both love. As a lot of you know, Sergio was a critical piece of what made the first 10 months such a great success. Obviously, the president's leadership is the most important thing, but you can't do a whole lot unless you've got good people around you. And Sergio did as much as anybody to ensure that the White House was staffed with the very best people, people who were loyal to the president, loyal to the country, and loyal to the agenda that we're trying to implement. So thank you.
JD Vance going to be the president in 2028, bro. He got all the components, bro. And the fact that he's part of Trump's administration now as vice president, obviously. People are automatically going to assume that he's going to, especially when things really get going good and gas is all the way down and groceries are more affordable and even housing becomes more affordable and things like that. Like, people are going to automatically assume that JD Vance is going to keep that same thing going. So that's why I see JD Vance becoming, I know he's definitely going to run, you know. He's not going to say that because, you know, obviously, you know, 10 months into being a vice president of, Donald Trump. So, but he's definitely.
Thank
I
you
think
all
he'll
for
be a
being
good
here. I think it's a
president,
great
though.
testament to you, Sergio, that you got multiple cabinet secretaries, Erica Kirk, the President of the United States. This crowd would not turn out for just anybody, but it turned out for Sergio Gore. You're going to do a hell of a job, man. Congratulations.
Just to echo what Sergio said, Mr. President, you've done a lot for this country, more than any other president has in such a short period of time. And
His wife was
Done. God bless you both.
Loved you. It's hard not to get emotional because I know that.
Damn, Erica Kirk looking rough. Yeah, her eyes look crazy. Her eyes look crazy. Like, God damn.
support from enough Democrats, and we're going to be opening up our country. It's too bad it was.
All right, hold on. So it looked like Keelan Collins might have asked the question.
President.
Oh, of course. Let's go. All right, here we go. My bad for
right.
Fast forward and shit.
Okay. Any questions?
You mentioned senators that are here, Mr. President. Do you personally approve of the deal that's happening right now on Capitol Hill to end the government shutdown?
That's what deal we're talking about. But if it's a deal I heard about, that's certainly, they want to change the deal a little bit. But I would say so. I think based on everything I'm hearing, they haven't changed anything. And we have support from enough Democrats. And we're going to be opening up our country. It's too bad it was closed, but we'll be opening up our country very quickly.
Mr. President, that deal does reverse the mass firings your administration put through during the shutdown. Did you sign off on that, and will you abide by that if this passes?
Well, I will be. I'll abide by the deal. The deal is very good. We're not going to be giving $1.5 trillion to people that came in from jails and from, the gangs and drug dealers and all of these others that they wanted to be given health care, which would have hurt our health care system. I hope that we're going to be able to have a health care where Lindsay and I were discussing it, Jim and I were discussing it, and Katie, we discussed it. We want a health care system where we pay the money to the people instead of the insurance companies. And I tell you, we're going to be working on that very hard over the next short period of time, where the people get the money. We're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars where the people get the money. Yes, please.
The Syria president, sir, could you update us on your meeting? Did you come to any agreements?
Say it.
With the leader of Syria you had earlier, did you come to any agreements today, or how were the talks?
He's a very strong leader. He comes from a very tough place, and he's a tough guy. I liked him. I get along with him, the new president of Syria. And we'll do everything we can to make Syria successful, because that's part of the Middle East. We have peace now in the Middle East, first time that anyone can remember that ever happening. Syria is a very big part of the Middle East, very important part. If you look back at Syria for years, they had the doctors, the lawyers, they had so many of the great intellects. It's an amazing place with great people. And we want to see Syria be successful along with the rest of the Middle East. So I have confidence that he'll be able to do the job, absolutely.
Mr. President, can we expect...
How close are you to a deal on a trade deal with India? Are you willing to consider lowering the current tariff rate?
Well, right now the tariffs are very high on India because of the Russian oil, and they've stopped doing the Russian oil. It's been reduced very substantially. Yeah, we're going to be bringing the taraffs down.
Sir, can we...
What level are we talking about here? And how close are you to a deal?
At some point, we're going to be bringing them down. Without tariffs, this country would be in such trouble, as they were for many years. That's why we owe $38 trillion. And one of the things we're going to do, we're going to issue a dividend to our middle-income people and lower-income people of about $2,000. And we're going to use the remaining tariffs to lower our debt. We're going to be lowering our debt, which is a national security thing. So we're doing a lot of good work. And the numbers were reported so incorrectly. The real numbers are trillions of dollars have been taken in or gotten in terms of investment from the tariffs. And so if that were ever reversed, it would be a disaster. Frankly, it would be a national security problem for our country. And nobody thinks it's going to be reversed. I think we had a very good court case. As you know, it's before the Supreme Court right now. But if that were ever reversed, people are saying, oh, it's $1 billion. Some people said, oh, it's $2 billion. Well, that obviously we can handle very easily. But this is trillions of dollars we're talking about in terms of the tariff income and all the investment income that's come into our country. We have
more than, I would say right now, more than $18 trillion. The biggest number ever is a tiny fraction of that for any country. China, the United States, the biggest number ever. If you look at the past administration, Biden, he did less than $1 trillion in 4 years. We're over $18 trillion. By the time my first year ends, we're going to have over $20 trillion of investment coming into the United States. It's unheard of. We have AI factories. We're leading China by a lot. We have cars and car plants coming in by more than we've ever had built before. All of that would go away if we lose the tariff case. So all of it would go away. So they're not giving the right numbers. It would be an economic disaster. It would be a national security disaster if we lost the case in the Supreme Court.
Yeah, man. So they asked him pretty much the same, a lot of the same questions that we kind of already went over or whatever. But yeah, man, shout out to Trump, bro. Trump doing America first policies and doing what's right for the American people, and people would be like, it's just honestly, bro, it's just TDS, bro. People just have Trump derangement syndrome, bro. Over these last 4 years, bro, Democrats successfully were able to program and manipulate a lot of American people to hate Donald Trump, and it's just simple shit, bro. If you go back before Donald Trump ever ran for president, you didn't hear the hate for Donald Trump. If anything, it was the opposite. People loved Donald Trump. It was in cameos, movies. He had a show for a long time. I think over a decade, if I'm not mistaken. Like, he was very popular, bro. Even with a lot of Democrats. He actually was Democrat before he ran as a Republican. So, I just don't understand people, who actually genuinely dislike Donald Trump at all. To have that much disdain for a man that you don't even personally know and who is actually doing a lot of good for the country. But then you turn around and vote for people who truly just don't care. You see what the guy Mamdani is doing? And I hate to even talk about him because he's Muslim, but it is what it is. He was saying, even he had a video where he was talking about businesses, renters. I'm sorry. He's talking about renters, landlords. Talking about if they, got property and it isn't up to code, and then we're going to hit them with a fine. And if they don't fix this, then we're going to hit them with another fine. And if that doesn't work, we're going to come in and we're going to fix it, and then we're going to bill them. And if that doesn't work, then we're going to take their property. Like, what? Bro, the stuff that they're talking about is lunatic stuff. It's out of control. And I just don't see what people seeing it, to be honest with you. I think a lot of people who have that socialism mindset, I think most of it comes from a good place, in a sense of people just want everybody to, get along and we all get a piece of the pie, and I just want to, a house to live in and some food, and we, from that vantage point, I understand some people's stance on it, but for the most part, bro, it's not feasible. We live in America. We live in a capitalist country. It just is what it is, and it works. Is there greed out there? Yes, it's a lot of it, but that's life. You got good, you got evil, and it's that balance that in the middle that people like me stand for. You know what I mean? So it's just, it is what it is, bro. And I don't like the fact that they monopolize life. Yo, my brother got a ticket for fishing. Like, what? He got a ticket for fishing, for catching a fish that was oversized or some shit. I don't it's just to me that's insane. You can't go fishing. y'all monopolize the sea. So I get certain things I don't like. That's why I say I don't fuck with government. I fuck with government in the sense of having a few departments that, make sure people get their Social Security when they retire, and, people that truly need welfare get it, and, make sure that our, children aren't going hungry, that our homeless, aren't, out on the streets and veterans are taken care of. Like, it should be departments for things like that. Police, the military, of course. Like, it's just certain things, but all of the departments that we have, a lot of it is trash, it's junk, it's made up, it's just another building to put a few people in there, and it costs billions of dollars, and it's a lot of people getting money, and it's just a one big Ponzi scheme, one after another, bro. Like, so it is what it is, though, man. I just know that we live in America. It is what it is. You got to roll with the punches. But anyway, man, I hope you got something out of the show today. Everybody that, the few people that, actually a lot of people actually hit me on my comments these last couple of days, man. I've been having a lot of people mad, but also I had a lot of people giving me, some subscribes. Appreciate them. And, some love. And they agree with me on a lot of things that I'm talking about, so I'm loving it, though. But, fuck all you haters, though, man. And, stop telling me I don't do my research, bro, because I do. And I'll be crushing y'all, bro. I'll be crushing y'all in the comments, bro. So bad, bro. I actually love it. That's what you gotta understand. Like, when you comment and you tell me, like, some dumb shit, like, my whole goal, I will spend 30 minutes putting a masterpiece together to crush you. Go look at my comments. Anyway, man, make sure you like, share, comment down below. Also, subscribe to the channel. Everybody that has subscribed and do subscribe, I truly do appreciate it. I really do. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy drop a dope video. Until next time, this your boy, SL550. This is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. I'm out.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.